Yeah. The covers for this run have been good. I feel like
Yeah,
consistently lately, like the covers have been good.
like the what is she, 13, 14? When Del Mundo took over on covers, and then it just kept going. Like I went after the first arc, I think the covers have been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's sick too.
This one, yeah, when I first saw the reveal of it, it looked wonky as hell. But now with the trade dress and everything, I'm like, oh, it looks good, you know?
Yeah, the trade dress kind of does make some of these like cover A's look a little bit better. Is this the end
I
for
don't know, because
spring?
it's September. Like, don't we have October solicits now?
September,
I think we have October.
October will come out in like 2 weeks.
Maybe it's just for stuff like Batman.
Yeah, the Batman stuff, like there are a few things that have been like things that have already been solicited, like big key ticket stuff. I think that
Yeah.
stuff's not been solicited. But like as far as like ordering and doing all that, like the full like when the full solicitations drop for everything that comes out for like their catalog in that month. Dude, is that a figure? That's like an action card cover? Mark Spears? That actually kind of goes hard. That's kind of sick. That's a cool ass cover, dude. Man,
I think what is it? So this is part three. So we have the
special
dead.
coming up.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Not by Spurrier, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's Pacnadel, right?
I don't understand. Well,
He's been doing all like he's been doing all the ancillary Flash stuff since like
yeah.
'cause he did Future State Flash,
Hmm.
and then he did
He did
Night
Night
Terrors,
Terrors.
Night Terrors Flash, which and I think he also did the Central City Beast World one shot.
It seems like the special. It's just gonna be some stuff with the shade, and then it's gonna be like, oh, we're back to the
Yeah,
story.
I mean
It's
it's
cool.
funny because like I've only read a couple things by Pacnadel, and
Hmm.
like I read I think it's All Against All. It's an image book, but that's pretty cool. And I don't know. It's weird because like he's done a few other things that I've read, like DC stuff, I think, and then it's his Flash stuff is just there, dude. It's like kind of like just kind of whatever. But
Not the kind of person that I
yeah,
guess you'd want to throw
yeah,
on
it's I
like
mean
full
he's
time.
like it's yeah, right. He's I don't think he's like the guy to write the Flash, but I think if you're looking for somebody to write like your Flash little spin-offs or like your one shots, like he's a solid writer. I don't think there's anything
Well,
wrong with being like that guy.
yeah, I guess it's good to have that guy because I sometimes I hate when I'm really into a book and they throw the crossover in me, like on me, and I'm not, I don't want to crossover. I just want this story, you know?
It's like I kind of
So,
think it kind of seems like they're learning. No,
but then you have someone like Jeremy Adams that's like, okay, I'll play ball. And
and
then
I
like,
wonder if that's going to be like a thing moving forward because I know when All In started, they said like they were going to like let creatives like have like more free reign, I guess, with stuff. So if Adams
don't,
really does stick to like, I mean, and he's been doing that with everything, I feel like anytime that there's like been a crossover spin-off issue or a spin-off series for like the characters that he's writing, he'll be writing it. You know what I mean?
mm,
So like I think if it's something that the creator is willing to handle, let them do it. If it's something that they're not trying to like if that they're not focusing on it and you want somebody else to write it that's been writing those characters in those ways for a couple years, just throw it to the other guy. You know what I mean?
don't you feel like, everyone always talks about like event fatigue, like especially X-Men. X-Men's the worst. Like they'll finish an event and then it's literally like, okay, here's your next event. It
They're doing
used
it
to be
right now,
like,
dude. They're doing it right
yeah,
now.
I saw that. Like now they have it's like kind of an homage to like the Mark Silvestri X, like Wolverine on the Cross.
Yeah, because it well, like, and here's the thing is they're not even done with this like whole Kamala led like Lansing and Kelly giant size like every single era of X-Men retcons, new info, new revelations, all this stuff that's going to be happening. They're not even done with that. And then on top of that, they're getting ready to set up something in X, like a few different big arcs in X-Men, and then they're doing this that all the people on the like on the X's like crucified because something with Doug and his like role as like an heir of apocalypse now.
He had that relationship with that chick from Morocco.
Yeah, dude, like honestly, I think that's the biggest fumble. Isn't like I mean, Rocco's still around, but they don't focus on it at all anymore.
Wasn't that like in X-Men Red and stuff?
Yeah, that was all Ewing stuff, dude.
Yeah,
And
I didn't read any of that.
not to like steer gears because with this we're not even talking about Flash yet, but Storm is
Yeah,
really good.
it's good. Yeah.
Storm's actually hella good. Like that's the
Oh, that's
best
good.
I think for X stuff right now.
I just feel like it's weird that with I mean, I guess they did it with 1 Minute War.
Yeah.
Um, but like having kind of like a special with it. But like with this, I just feel like it weirdly just
Well, I guess let's start there then. Like the reveal at the end. Like I
it's not like it doesn't feel it's not a crossover. It's not like this is like
no. I also
um
don't know like where this fits into the bigger scheme of the story because like he hasn't I don't think we've seen the shade at all. You
yeah,
know?
well I was thinking about this before we, you know, started recording. Like the Shade is one of those characters where he shows up, but then the next time like you
Oh.
see him, you're kind of like, when was the last time we saw him? You
He
know,
was
like
second arc
I think of
in
like
Rebirth.
Rebirth,
Yep.
but
Yeah,
he,
I was just looking at those issues the other day.
yeah, with
It's
the
like 7 through 10 or something, 7 through 11.
so I know who's on art. It was like Carmine
Yes.
DiGiamonico. Yeah.
Yes,
So
dude.
like, but I also feel like Jeremy Adams had something with the Shade. I can't really remember.
I think he did something with him in Gym World, no?
Yeah, that's
Was
probably what
that
it was.
like that second arc?
But like, you know, like it's not like one of those things where I guess when you have a Captain Cold arc or you have Reverse Flash arc, like it's memorable in the sense where it's like, oh, okay, cool. We haven't seen him in a while. Like when was the last, you know, like you kind of remember, but like I feel
Yeah.
like the Shade's one of those characters where I'm like, he's cool, but like I feel like, and I don't really know, I'm not reading JSA, but I've always kind of thought
I
of
was you're
the
like speaking
Shade.
my language, bro. Like he's
Yeah.
a say villain for like he's yeah. No, I
Yeah.
agree.
So like I feel like the Shade kind of showing up. I feel like and I know like even Eclipso in a way like
Yeah.
if they were doing a Flash JSA crossover, I
Dude,
guess it would make sense. But like to have like a special and like to have an event like just it's just a story arc. Like you don't I don't need like a big halftime show issue. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what we get with these
yes.
specials,
That's a good way to
you
put it. I
know?
really think, especially like when you pull like a reveal, like, look, it's the shade. Like, and here's the thing is like, where is this coming from? Like, is he just like kind of, is he jealous that Eclipse was like, I'm destroying all the light and it's going to be darkness everywhere? Yeah. Like,
But don't you feel like it's not even it doesn't even oh, I could be wrong. This special could be like a great issue and we're like, wow, we were so
I
wrong.
mean, here's the thing is
But
in it could be good, but it could also be good and not have anything to do with what else is being told in the event. Also,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
there's
it could
something
be an
like
issue about the shade.
there's something telling me that I've been listening to a lot of interviews with like kind of old guard DC guys and like
Uh-huh.
they all have like those stories where it's like a shelf story. So like this could be like a Pac Nadell like Flash like shelf story
Yeah.
where it's just kind of getting roped in where I really feel like this is going to be one of those things where like we have this issue with the Shade. It's cool. The art's probably awesome, but then it's just going to snap back and it's going to get back to the Eclipso stuff.
And that's
And
kind
I,
of that's probably what it's. I think you're right. Like it's just going to be random shade shit.
but it's probably just a thing that like they've just maybe waited
Yeah,
to use, like just to kind of in their back pocket, because maybe Spurrier's like, hey, like more time, or maybe they need more time to make the art or whatever.
yeah.
Who knows? I feel like I'm being negative with it, but I
Okay.
I genuinely do feel though these last few issues I've really enjoyed, and I think if this is Spurrier's like last story arc, I think he's gonna stick the landing with
I
this at least.
There are aspects that I think will like the things that the things that I don't. It's stupid that I'm even saying this because I was saying this back when Adam was writing it. It like this would have been a perfect book for DC to be like this could be like our Fantastic Four style book, and they never did it. And now that you have like somebody that's kind of being like a sci-fi writer, Jai is basically Franklin Richards, like at this point. And
Yeah.
I don't know that I care. Like I don't know that this is the guy that I want telling that story when you have literally Ryan North,
All
like
right.
basically
Doing a
basically
crypto
making
book of
yeah,
all
yeah,
things.
right, and he's doing this stuff with Franklin already, except with as years of established continuity and kind of impressive writing to kind of make Franklin like handicap him in a way that's believable, I guess, but also
Okay.
make him really interesting. Whereas like I don't think anything with Jives is really interesting anymore. It's just kind of like he's the MacGuffin of this book that can and it happens all issue, man. It's just like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this, but we're gonna do it anyway because timey-wimey people said I could. And I'm just like,
Well, and now in that they're kind of teasing like the a similar thing with Irie. Like it's like
yeah.
she has that moment where like, whoa, what just happened? You know, and
Like
it showed the
and
art like I can actually go back. I was just looking at the issue.
like what's kind of frustrating there is it's like it's kind of seems like she had a moment like her dad did in Sanctuary.
Yeah, right here. Right. Right.
And I think I don't know. I just think that's like
But yeah, and I don't know, like there's this part right here where like he leaves, but he goes back to the point he left, like time dilation and stuff. And I'm
yeah.
like, he that's like too powerful. Like there's a comes a point where it's like, does anything really have any stake or impact? And I feel that way also with like all the flashes and stuff. Like it's kind of like a lot, but I hope that I think at the end, like there's gonna be something where like Jai will be at the center of it, and when the arc concludes, or maybe even the run, maybe his powers are just gone. Like I
Bro, I honestly and
I think they have to because at the
I would
you
be
come to a point,
ecstatic. I would be ecstatic.
but like you're gonna come to a point in this book where it's good. Like
How
Jai is so powerful right now that like
I was
if
just gonna say like how OP do we make him before he's like too OP? You know what I mean?
well,
Before
it's at
he's
that
just
point
like
put him on the Justice League. You know what I mean? Like he's just too
yeah,
powerful.
he's like the problem solver guy. Like
Yeah, well, like
he's like
he's just
Superman. He's like Superman. Don't worry about it. Take a seat, brother. I got you. I can just magically make universal forces give birth to babies. Just sit the fuck down.
like do you agree with me though? Like he's got to be
No, yeah, they have to kneecap him because if they
yeah,
don't, what are they gonna do with him? Like
because he's like the B story in this, really. Like he's
yeah, he's been the big through line like B plot for a lot of this book. And here's the craziest part. It's gone nowhere other than just like
yeah.
you're
Well, that's
powerful
what I
now.
mean. I feel like it has to be like that thing that through all these 20 something issues, he's gotten powerful to the point where like he's gonna be
Yeah.
the real hero in the end. You know what I mean? Like
It's like he's gonna make the great sacrifice and lose his powers or whatever because he doesn't want to be the hero, but he knows he has to be. I could see that kind of being.
yeah, like I feel like it would just make sense. it would make it would have to make
And I
sense.
guess if that's like the ending you're gonna go for is like let let the son who doesn't want the power save the day at least one time so he can
Right.
like that's a cool that's a cool message to send, I think. But also maybe don't do it in the most like drawn out, contrived, like I hate to say it, like almost boring way
Well, I
because
feel like
in like a journey to get here in even
yeah.
so, dude.
Well, yeah, like to be like, oh, all that. I mean, that's cool, but
And then
damn,
they go to
could have
the
done it
time
sooner.
spiders and all that stuff again, dude. And I'm like, I just can't keep doing these things. I don't understand.
Right. But I feel like this stuff with Jai is like Spurrier's way of like, you know how like we would tell the like they would always tell those flash stories with the cosmic treadmill and stuff, and like, no, this is real time travel stuff, you know? And it's not just like
Like
straightforward.
his
It's
yeah,
like,
like his time travel. Like there, okay. And I was thinking about this when I read this, as I said, I was skimming through it again yesterday. But when I read this the first time, I almost feel like I don't care about Wade either, like at all, because it's just been like
yeah,
we only know about everything about him. It's just word of mouth from him.
it's
He's like,
vague.
I'm the best.
Yeah.
I'm the smartest. I did all these things. I got my third PhD when I was 20. And it's like, okay, maybe give me the one shot special about Wade and his whole ass life and the
Right.
original timeline that he lived in that led to this point. And you could kind of go into some of the shit that he's talking about or he's been talking about. Maybe they make that your bad moon special. It's all about Wade. That way, give me a reason to care about him because you're probably going to kill him.
Yeah,
Or like
it's
not even
weird.
Baby Wade, whoever like whatever I don't remember his name, dude. Like Pilgrim.
Yeah,
That's who it was.
Inspector Pilgrim.
Inspector
Yeah.
Pilgrim. Like he okay, his character is like that do you remember when like Ironheart was coming out, like when she was new, like Kamala was new? Yeah, it's like all like this whole problem where people were bitching about these characters being like, well, they just come on here and just say that they're better than the original, and we just have to accept it because that is what it is. Like that's literally what this shit is. I'm the best character in this book, but I'm gonna only tell you why I'm the best. I'm not gonna show you why.
Yeah. I think whoever takes over like post Spurrier, like they won't use Wade that way. Like there will be no Pilgrim, and maybe they won't do anything with Wade, but then like the writer after them will be like, oh, so this is
I
what we're gonna do, you know?
I feel like I'm almost nitpicking at this point, but like,
No, I mean it's like you like the character, you've been a fan of it, so like I feel like you want to see, I don't know, I guess some more traditional Flash stuff, which I
yeah,
get.
yeah, right, and like at least like build some substance behind him because I do think he's interesting, and he's been like the kind of wild card piece in a lot of this series. So the fact
Yeah.
that it's just the easy explanation of like, and we already piggybacked this character technically off of Adam's run, right? It just kind of gets weird.
I mean, he's just tried to, well,
You know what I mean? Like it just like because Wade has no like there's nothing to him before this, but even then now there's still nothing to Wade because I haven't seen it, and it's all tell don't it's all tell has and I have not you have not shown me anything. So when the character is just telling me about himself and I don't have any other like I don't know. Like when you use that as just like your primary tool to introduce a character and it's just him talking about himself the whole time, I just don't find that interesting.
well, I think the thing is too is like I've listened to some interviews and Spurrier's not really a Flash fan, so like
Yeah,
I never expected him to like be like, okay, so we're gonna do a older Wade West, and I know he appeared, he was like a future like preteen version of him like appeared in 1 Minute War, but like we're not gonna reference that at all. Like it'd be one thing if like you're like, okay, so this is a future Wade,
right,
and
and that's
we're
the
gonna
first thing I
flash
even
back
thought
to
about
that.
either
We're
was
gonna
the
connect
1 minute
those.
war aspect. Exactly, because it's never clearly stated if that's Wade or not. You know what I mean? Like
It's just
at least
alluded to.
it's
Yeah.
it's heavily implied, I feel like. So you compiled that. if that is actually Wade, that fits really well within his own personal timeline because he's that means he's already been a time traveler.
Right, right. Like
And
that's all
even
he's ever known is time travel and
yes,
stuff. You know,
yes,
like
yes.
this might seem very weird, but like it's just like maybe that's
And
editorial too, because like you
right,
got to realize like when you have a writer that's
who's not a
not
fan.
a fan of like the characters and like the lore, like they have the concepts, they have the stories, but really editorial needs to like
Fill in the
carve it
gaps.
out, fill in the gaps, like maybe get some of like the characters' voices, you know,
Yeah.
maybe those little connections to stuff. Like they need to have stuff like that. And I don't, I mean, not to knock editorial, but like I feel like that's like
No, I'm
the
that's their
role of
job.
editorial is like they need to be whoever's like the editor for the book needs to be like the biggest fan. It needs to like connect things together. And I feel
And it's
like
something
that's the
that you
problem
said
with this.
that's that's like a way bigger conversation than just like Flash. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, of course.
Because
Yeah.
like, and not to like steer off Flash, but like when you think about like the editorial, like I guess problem, you know, as far as like the big two goes, I don't feel like it's not a big problem so much, I think, for DC anymore, other than like maybe situations like this where they could tie a lot of continuity together, where there not necessarily isn't like it's not like 100% fact, but like in the ways that we're talking about, you could tie it together pretty neatly. That being said, I think Marvel is awful, awful about editorial, and I think that's like in most of their lines, just because like you
Yeah.
have people that are so overbearing about what's in those books, the creatives are suffocated. But then you've got situations like, and this is just, I mean, and not even speaking about Marvel, but across the board, where you've got kind of Flash here, where the editorial staff is just kind of like trucking along. They're just kind of scooting and doing their thing. And
Yeah.
because Spurrier, I feel like he is a competent writer. So when you have a writer that's pretty good, like that's good at what he does, who's like, and that's why I feel like some of this run is kind of disappointing to me because there are things that I've seen him do in other books that he's like not doing here that I'm like, man, if you just like focused like Coda, there's like an issue or two in there that like does a lot of backstory stuff, and that's like a boom, more like fantasy style book. But you could take some of the like the stuff that you've done in other stories that you've written and apply that here. Like stop and take the issue to introduce me to who Wade is, what his life was like. Give me a reason to care why he's time traveling and why he's trying to save the time stream and why this timeline is so important to him. Like, I don't know any of that stuff. If I knew that stuff, I'd be more invested in it, other than it just looks like cool sci-fi stuff.
Oh yeah.
So when you have the situation where there's not a lot of editorial oversight and he's just kind of almost like swimming in the deep end on his own sometimes, I think it just needs to be mediated a little bit better. And you have,
Yeah.
like you said, the biggest fan in the room should be some of the people that are involved with editorial because they're going to know that stuff.
So just to kind of like interject, like you know, not I
Also,
want to
I was
rant on it.
long-winded. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but so if it was me, editorial or the writer, I would be like, you know something, you know how Mark Waid always had said he had that Wally story why he hates time travel. Like you got Wade West, he's literally named after Mark Waid. Why don't we do a thing where like Wally and Wade have like an estranged relationship because Wade is literally time travel crazy, you know? Like
Yo,
so like
that's
that's
that. And like, it's that's like the exact stuff that I like. That like,
that's what
if
you
okay,
want.
yes, yes. Oh my
Because
God,
it
yes.
like appeases the fans where like, you know, it's that
Yes. And like
it could be
and
a
then it gets my mind racing because then I think about like really really cool character moments. Like you do throwbacks to when um like the three Barry moments, like when he comes back to like talk to Wally and kind of give him the boost that he needs. You can do a huge mirror with Wade and his dad. You can do so many cool things with that. Like have it like be three moments where Wade goes back and like visits Wally's life. You know, anything. Or like the points of contention throughout his life. Three moments where he like Wally's really telling him like time travel is not good. So it's not
Yeah.
even necessarily the same exact because Barry has kind of embraced it in a way, you know? So
Yeah.
if you have the opposite effect and how Wally's health like relationship with time travel is so unhealthy that he doesn't ever want to do it, and you have his son who's literally time travel personified, basically.
Yeah, like you could even have like a cool moment where
The
Wade Wade hinted that that story was like Wally tried to save like a childhood friend that died. And you could have like a whole thing where Wally, you know, him and Wade have like a moment where like say Wade's like, "Oh, I did it. Like I saved him." And like Wally's
Yeah.
like, "Yo, you got to chill. Like some things just you need to just let go, you know?
Yeah, dude,
Like you can't."
that would be interesting. Yeah,
And
like
it's just the friction, you know what I mean? And that's why they're
like
estranged. And
what
I always say
Wade thinks he's
like
doing all these right things because he has the ability to do so, but Wally's like, listen, like you don't have to. Like, it's okay to let these things happen. Like
just
basically, like it's
because
something
you
that's
can doesn't mean you should.
fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would have been
Maybe
see
we
like
should be
that. Like
writing.
I know, man. It's fine.
No, I feel like it's easier said than done. But
Yeah, like and right. It's easier for us to sit here like and to
yeah,
read and pick it apart and basically say like these are the things that these are the things that you should have done or the things that I think
yeah,
would land really well. It's way easier for us to do that than it is for somebody like Spurrier to kind of like map this stuff out. And kudos to him because I feel like that there are a lot of Flash fans, like at least people that have been reading Flash for a fair period of time that are enjoying this. And more power
yeah,
to you. Like if this is the Flash stuff that you like, I don't want to take that away from you. But also
yeah.
like I think there's so much more to Flash than just like cool
Time travel
sci-fi
and stuff.
and time
Yeah,
travel and sci-fi
yeah,
powers and all of these like weird alien concepts when it's really like that's not what the book is about. Like yes, it's about crazy sci-fi wackiness because he's not just running fast anymore. He's got all of these insane powers. But like at the core of it, it's really just about a dude trying to save everybody that he loves and cares about from you know, like from anything. He wants to be there
yeah.
to protect them all the time. And he's the only one that really can because he's fast enough to be there. But
Right.
that's why I
I
read
feel
the
like
Flash.
people that aren't Flash fans really misunderstand like why we like the character.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, I don't know how you would do like 100 issues about like someone that can just run fast. It's like, but like that's not what it's all about at the end. There's so much
yeah.
more to it.
It's so funny because like
Tom King when he was on a hero story, like he doesn't get it. But the thing is like he's that kind of writer that like, and I like Tom King.
yeah,
He's done some great stuff, but like he's that kind of writer that like if he got his hands on Flash, he would do something so cynical that would be like, yo, like,
yeah. Like well, and
well, look
here's
at Heroes in Crisis, like that, like literally that's what I'm talking
yeah.
about.
It's so funny because like I even when I met him, dude, I gave him so much shit for Heroes in Crisis. Like I really did.
That was
But
editorial though. Like
oh no,
they,
yeah, 100%. Like look like and this was way before I knew that the whole situation like before I was like wise to that, you know. This was like
yeah,
years ago. So I
yeah. You
gave him
think that like he had like
like
a
this like
dartboard with
ulterior
Wally,
motive. Yeah.
yeah, but he likes the character. That's like the thing that's
Yeah,
like
like
funny
you're
about it,
right. And like to hear him explain himself, like when I meet him again, because I'm sure I will, because I've met him twice now. But like, and this like the first time I met him, I gave him so much shit about it. But then I doubled back and I was like, listen, man, I was like, I almost like turned off on you like completely, like after that. I said, but then
Yeah,
you dropped Supergirl, and I was like, that was like actually like really, really, really good. And so like I agree with you that I feel like if he were to
yeah.
get his hands on Flash, it would be a pretty cynical take. But I'm almost interested to see like what he would be able to do with some of those concepts and really
It
like
wouldn't be heavy sci-fi. It would be very
no,
grounded. It'd
it
be
would be
like,
very like character driven, I think, because
yeah,
he's been doing a really good job balancing a lot of the fantasy elements with Wonder Woman with a lot of like the realism and character relationship stuff. So I, I'll like maybe let him like and not like in the same way he drug Wally through the mud in Heroes in Crisis, but if you let him like drag him a little bit to kind of give us a little like kind of like a big moment of hope at the end and kind
Mm.
of bring us full circle to back. Like, I feel like he could do a pretty good job. I think he would be the better Tom to take over out of him and Tom Taylor. But
Yeah. I never thought I would say this, but I think I'd be fine if they had Wally be like more prominent in like Justice League Unlimited and
yeah,
just have Barry be the focus of Flash again and then do like CSI stuff because I kind of
Ryan
miss
North,
that.
dude. Oh, Ryan North. Oh my God.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
miss like the CSI stuff. I miss like him. I want him to like solve like cases and stuff like that.
Well,
Like I
like, see,
want
and then like you don't even have to leave. I think Ryan, if okay, and this is really me hanging on the hope that Ryan North does take over for Flash someday, because like you wouldn't even need to worry about Wally not being in that book. Because I I think if you're looking at like character archetypes, you have your Wall or your Barry, who's like basically your kind of your Reed of this, right?
mm,
Or he would be. But then you've got Wally, who would kind of be like your I don't want to compare him to Johnny Storm, but he's really the only archetype of the four I think that you could kind of tie him to if you already have Reed taken. But like,
I guess, but like I feel like my only problem with that is like Wally's evolved so much as a character.
right,
Like he's like a
right.
dad now. Like I feel like because
So
people still think of like the Michael Rosenbaum like animated series,
yes,
you can't. And
it
like
kind of
that's my one critique with Jeremy Adams is I feel like in some ways he did kind of go backwards with that, the characterization.
yeah, that's
Do you
that's
understand what I
totally fair.
mean? Like it's like
Yeah,
a
no, that's
fine
totally
line. Like
fair. And
it.
that's why that's why I was like that's why I was like a little hesitant to even compare him to Johnny because and even Johnny's gone through like massive leaps in development over the years, to kind of make him different than what he used to be. But he's still the very much the like if like Ryan North's version of Johnny is very go lucky and kind of like a goober and he's not like he's very endearing. So I guess if you
Mm,
go from that angle where like Wally's like the goofy endearing dad and just everybody like that everybody that knows him kind of loves him. But like what I was kind of going with this is you have the focus be Barry, but you have an entire arc where it's like some blue collar stuff because Wally was a mechanic for a while. So maybe
yeah.
you have a situation where it's like car related, some kind of like he basically needs Wally's blue collar work expertise to get him through some of these things, or Wally picks up things that Barry doesn't, and then you get like a buddy cop situation. I think there are really, really creative ways to keep both of them like kind of juggling the title sometimes. You just have to find the right writer to do it. And I think also I just keep gunning for North because he's so good at juggling a big
Yeah.
cat. And he's doing a great job with on World Under Doom right now. Like that book is phenomenal. So I think,
Isn't it like I just had a random like thought. Isn't it weird to think that at one point Mr. Terrific was prominent in this book? No,
dude,
he's just not
and
in
he
it at
just
all.
like faded into the background,
Yeah.
which I really like his addition to like the supporting cast.
Yeah.
I
I
think I
like
think
that like Wally was like an employee under him and it kind of was like,
yes,
yo, this is your cover. You can do what you need to do.
yeah, I always liked that because in the beginning I'm like, what the hell was Wally gonna actually do with these scientists? Like what's gonna but then it was almost like every situation that he had to deal with on the job was and I think this is kind of like the soap opera-y element to comic books, and it's very like of course Wally would have to be employed here to solve this issue for the scientists that nobody else in the entire world could do. But it
Mm,
just like not that it's filler, but it makes it like when people ask the questions, well, what do these superheroes do in their daily life? Literally just random shit, it seems like. Working a job for their cover, like for the rich superhero, so they've got to cover. Like it's a believable story, and you don't have to
yeah.
put a lot of thought into it. And I, like that kind of stuff works, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
But then I just get back to thinking about situations like where you could really just focus on that kind of stuff for an arc, and you don't have to do speed stuff. You can do like, and that's again that just circles back to like why I like the Flash because there are a lot of issues in from like Wade's run to now, where it's just him doing not Flash stuff. And I always like those issues.
Well, I love when and I mean I guess I never really thought of it, but like Wally is kind of one of those characters where like he has changed, I guess, like careers. Like I like when characters will like ha- they'll just have a new like career path, like you said, the mechanic part. I like that. It was cool. But that's
Yeah.
also Jeff Johns like tastefully interjecting stuff he knows into the character in a way that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Like I I just maybe I just like more dimensional characters than just I have powers and I run fast and I punch people.
Yeah.
Like it looks cool on the page when I do it. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
All that stuff being said, I think there is also a really, really fine line with like spreading the plot out and spreading like your attention out as a writer too thin. And I think this is kind of where this book has gone. Is there's like this book reminds me of like Charlie Day, where he's like, it's all connected, like it, like that meme. Like,
Yeah.
and
Oh
you
yeah.
literally have to just look for every connection because sometimes I'm lost and I'm like, I don't even remember what the hell
The
these
first
time
arc was.
spiders do. Like they last time I saw them, they were kidnapping speedsters across the timelines,
Right.
and that's all they did. They just held them,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and now they're like, and it there probably wasn't like a pretty feasible explanation as to what they do when they aren't doing that stuff. And it's probably
Right.
like weaving the timelines together. And it's like,
Well, I feel like that was like a
sure.
weird thing where like it's still, and I don't even know if it'll actually be like we'll find out, but it was like Pilgrim was just kind of like, all right, we're taking all these other speedsters off the table because you are the only one that needs to deal with this. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
kind of
And
like,
like, and now
okay,
that kind of seems like just for nothing.
right. I don't know.
Because like, okay, and that's the other thing is like this whole plot, like is that whole thing really resolved? Like, and looking back now, I don't know that it's a satisfying resolution to all that. Just that the Speed Force is all of a sudden okay because it gave birth, but we just got rid of the fact that not just Pilgrim, but Waller was on the case that speedsters were going to doom the universe.
Mm,
Like I remember that being like a big point, whereas like Waller somehow has this information that speedsters are like the most deadly force to the multiverse. Because and then that was being doubled down on every time we saw Wade, where he's like, "You guys gotta go. The more speedsters are out there, the worse things are gonna get. You're gonna ruin the timeline even faster because we're
kind of
all
like a
just."
cheap tie into like absolute power in a way.
And
I guess if you look at it, like,
Spurrier didn't even write the tie-in issue for that. That was Packed and Doll. And that issue was banging, dude. And that was the Barry versus the speed robot. That issue was
yeah.
so damn good, dude. Oh,
I want to
Packed
flip
and
through
Doll,
it.
you could take over, brother. You got it, bro. It's all good. I don't even care.
Yeah.
But
I still
okay,
love this black costume.
it's pretty sick, dude. Like you just give him the oh, give him a
Like I know
mask.
it's kind of like
Give him a
weird, but like and they would never do it, but you never know. I would love like a figure like that.
Dude, I was just thinking, like, what if he puts on a mask, like just kind of like puts one on in that suit? I pray, I pray that it's literally just a dark flash mask, but all black.
Dude, and I love like how this Wally, like the way we know it's him is like the hair's exposed.
Yes.
Just put a little bit more yellow in there and you got a good costume, I think. You
Yeah,
know?
do you think that this is gonna end with the two of them like reemerging, and it's kind of like gonna give Wally his like humanity back? Or do you think that this is like a
Yeah,
loose end,
probably.
or do you think that this Wally becomes a loose end, and he's like shows up again at a later point when somebody else takes over?
I think this will become like the main Wally, and I think the black costume Wally, that will be the loose end. That'll be like what happened to him,
Uh,
Because like
I literally, I was gonna be like
it's
my
like
worst.
Clone Saga, where like he's like,
Thank
I'm
you,
the I'm the
thank
real
you.
Wally,
I hate that. Like, and are they gonna pick him because he's like not the one who's been fighting this war, who's all been down like broken down and all this. Like, I don't, yeah, I don't know that I like that.
And
Just
what have they
reimburse
been
me.
calling him? He'll be a villain. He'll be
The
the
shard.
real Wally West. He'll be like the commander or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh no.
dude,
The
I always feel
general
like
or whatever. Yeah,
I
the general. Get the fuck.
I know like the general. Yeah, I
I
always
hate it.
find like those little things that
I
like
hate it, dude.
it's a stretch if they do it, but if they do it, you're like, fuck.
I'll tell you right now, if you call this and the real Wally becomes like the bad guy later on, I'll I'll burn that shit like live. Dude, that's just the I just oh that would just grind my gears. That would piss me off, to be honest with you. I would be like, wow, I can't believe somebody actually did this.
I mean, if that's like what happens, that's good. That'd be kind of cool though, if you think about it.
I don't
It'll
know.
be like a
There's just something
cooler,
that rubs me wrong about like the clone being like, I'm gonna swoop in. I'm gonna be the main guy, and I'm just like, dude, like
but
because then it's just like
yeah,
like and now you're supposed to sell this like to okay like people like us. We know for a fact that that's not Wally. So how are you gonna sell that to people like us?
right.
So I'm just following this fake Wally for years, and this is like this isn't like a Clone Saga kind of situation. I mean, it is, but it's also not where you can't be like we're both the real one. Like you're very clearly just like a fraction of who the character is supposed to be.
Look at this. Will everyone please just shut up?
It's happening, dude. He's gonna be the new Reverse Flash. The whole time it was Hunter. That's gonna be the ass pull at the end.
And like the black costume was like maybe like kind of like oh it's starting. You know what I mean? We're starting down this path. Like I think
Oh,
like the next iteration of this
oh
costume will be like the less
no.
black. You replace the black with yellow.
No.
You know?
I am the real Flash. Like again,
Yeah. You know, it could be done tastefully, I
it
think.
has its merits, I guess.
It could be done tastefully. I feel like
Uh,
it's one of those things where like someone that's not reading it, you explain it to them, they're like,
that
"What?"
sounds sick. And they're like,
They're like,
that's
"That's
crazy.
crazy," or like it's the
Oh, I
dumbest thing
hate.
ever,
Okay,
or it's the dumbest thing ever.
thank
You
you.
know?
Okay, when I was working in the shop, right? I used to get when I would like try to like because I used to recommend Adam's Flash to literally any person that would listen, like any person that would like stop and like look at a Flash issue on the shelf. I'm like, hey, you should really pick that up. That's a really good book. And then I would explain things to them. And like I knew for like a fact they had no fucking idea what I was talking about. But then they'd always leave with like, that's so sick. And I'm like, what is sick? I'm like, what? I'm like, you don't, first off, you don't know half the words that I'm saying. I'm like, and second off, I'm like, yes, it sounds cool in theory, but then, like you like
Yeah.
when you're explaining it to some people, you're like, this shit sounds so crazy. Like, how do
Yeah, oh
you like
yeah,
but I also really hate like when people are just like, wow, that's just incredible on things where I'm just like,
bro. I don't even think it's incredible, and I'm the one explaining it to you. You know?
yes, yes.
Um,
Oh my God, yes. Like I have an
it's
investment in this shit and I still don't think it's that cool sometimes.
yeah. Um, what was I gonna say? I totally forgot. But
I have one for you. I am glad that they're tying kind of things together with like Dark Side's Legion and Time Trapper and Booster Gold. I do like that. Like that's while it is done in a way that I'm just like always like there's all these infinite number of things, but the one thing that's constant is all this shit's about to go down. And it's very time related, which
mm,
doubles down with I mean, and I'm sure you've probably seen the multiple people post about the time crisis on the second and all the
yeah,
stuff from Doomsday Clock.
yeah, it's all finally
I
starting to.
I think we are still 100% barreling right towards something like that, even if it isn't John's envisionment of what was supposed to be that event. I still
Mm,
think we're heading towards that really, really fast. So to get like some connectivity with some of the stuff that's been going on in All In, I think is really nice because you see like in between like all of the flashes on the moon, and then like it looks like one of the girder uh little drones. You've got like I said, the Dark Side Legion, Time Trapper, Booster, and all of it talking about like the absolute universe and heroes being thrown throughout time, which is what's happening right now. And some of those characters are going to be sticking around, as far as I know. Like,
I'm still getting caught up with
yeah, I'm
that.
trying to dance around it so I don't spoil a lot for you because we already
Right.
yesterday crossover is pretty cool.
I I I kind of know how it ended. If it did end, it did end.
Yes, because Mora did the finale, I think.
Yeah. I
Which, dude,
kind of
those
know.
pages with those like time thrown characters, so fucking good. So
Yeah.
fucking
I've just kind of I don't know, like with DC Ultra, I know I've kind of said this so many times, but like if you're busy, like I mean, you wait a month, like
you have a you can like catch up quick, yeah.
yeah, like I've been kind of just catching up with it, you know. It's
Yeah.
the crossover stuff that I'm like, because World's Finest has kind of been that book for a little while where it's like, I like it. I definitely will read it.
I and I felt this way since and I and I know it's because Mora just brings the sauce when he's on a book, dude. Like and that's just literally all it is. Like if
It's
he's
making me
on,
want to read Superman. I haven't read a
dude,
Superman
it's
ongoing in
great. It's
years.
incredible. But here's the other thing. Like I listen, I was gonna drop Transformers 1,000%. When
Yeah,
Daniel Warren Johnson that when announced when he was done after 24, I said, I'm done with this book. I said, I don't know that I want to read it anymore. But then like Hickman, or not Hickman, Kirkman is like, I'm writing. And I'm like, well, shit. Okay,
yeah.
I'll probably keep reading now because Jorge Corona does a pretty good job with the art there. But then they
It's gonna
announced
win an
Dan
Eisner.
Mora on the art. And I'm like, I'm like, there's no way I'm dropping this. Like he just has that effect.
Bro,
Like
how does he do it? How
I
does Dan Moore do it?
dude, I don't know.
Dude,
He's
I
he's
I
running
feel
like
like
children. Like somebody I heard somebody say a sweatshop.
I think Mark Wade said that. I'm pretty sure Mark Wade said that in
Is
because
it
I
Mark Wade?
in the
Oh,
Hero Story interview, the
oh,
second one.
maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe it
Yeah.
was Wade.
I
Dude,
just recently
that's all
re-listened
I
to that.
imagine is just like I just imagine like a bunch of six-dimensional imp versions of Dan Moore like drawing all these characters as a
Yeah.
and he's just like, do it.
Dude, DC's got to lock him down like to some kind of
I think
exclusive.
he is. I don't know that it's like he pinned to paper, but I remember him like somebody like when he posted that Spider-Man art a few years back. And people went crazy, bro. Like it was all over Reddit, it was all over every social media platform. Like, look, Dan Mora drew Spider-Man. He only does DC stuff. Somebody asked him, like, "Are you ever gonna do Marvel work?" And he said, "DC is my home." So I don't know
Yeah.
if that was the implication that he is only because he's indie stuff doesn't count. You know what I mean? Like Image,
Yeah.
Boom, all of that stuff is creator owned, and it's all funded by them for the most part. I mean, those companies obviously put up some money and help them get
Well,
it going.
Kirkman's like the big dog with that. I
That's
mean, it's
and
just
that's what
crazy that Transformers is an image book right now.
dude,
It's kind of
yeah,
like
Image
crazy.
and Scott, dude, yeah, and that book is really good. But like, not to focus on that, like, but the Dan Moore just has that effect. So let's circle back to World's Finest. I agree with you. Since he left, I feel like it's been like the storytelling has still been good, but it's missing that like magic that Morrow would bring. Like it was like always at the top of my stack when he was doing the art. So like
Mora
everything,
has that effect. It's
dude,
weird because I'm normally like not that kind of guy where like, oh, like, you hear people who are like, oh, like when this artist would leave, like I'd kind of check out. Like I've never been that guy. I've always been story, story, story. But
yeah,
Dan Moore has always been that guy where like when he leaves, the void is felt. It happened with
yeah.
Detective. It happened with
Mhm.
World's Finest. It happened with Shazam. It's that's just the Dan Mora effect. But
Dude, like, I feel like I'm saying this about like quite a few creators now too. Is like you kind of have the Al Ewing effect at Marvel with certain things. Like there are so many good things that he's written, and there are points in those books where they're like maybe there are lows, but I've never not enjoyed them.
mm,
Like most people hate his Venom. I absolutely adore it. Like the
mm.
first from 1 to 35 and the event stuff in between, I think it's really strong. But then now that we're on all new Venom, I don't really care about some of the stuff that's in it. That doesn't mean I don't think he's a really good writer still. But like kind of the same thing. Like whoever takes over on Thor after him has big shoes to fill because the dude is doing like generational continuity work in Thor. Like
Oh yeah, I saw like the now it's like Mortal Thor.
the mortal Thor, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
but like, and
it's pretty
he's
cool.
and I'm like for one guy to basically sit there and say, I love Thor and I'm going to show you why I love Thor. And some of those reasons why are just going to be me doing the coolest shit imaginable with his continuity and the myths around him, but also throw in an entirely original set of characters and tell my own original story around that too. Like that's hard work, man. And to pull it off well, and to not just do it with Thor, but to have done it with Hulk, and then to have done it with multiple other characters, like kind of revamp their continuity in ways that nobody else would have thought of. Like you have to be a really good writer to do stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So like I have that problem with Ewing, like, and I feel like I'm gonna have that problem with a few books when Lemire is done. Now that he's back at DC, is like some of my Mount Rushmore of writers are doing a lot of stuff that I enjoy right now. So, or characters that I haven't read that much of in the past sometimes. So when they're gone, you know what I mean? Like, am I gonna
Mm,
want to keep up with them because it's just like the effect of whoever's following them, is it going to be interesting enough, or do have I read enough of them? I think that's not something I think about that often is like the follow-up to certain creators and how I enjoy some of the titles.
yeah. I mean, there's always going to be those writers like that where you're just kind of like,
Yeah.
like, I mean, that's what Donny Cates was kind of like for a while.
Want to, man, I'll still go back and read Silver Surfer Black whenever that book's great.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
and I definitely want to reread his Venom. But like I was in on his store for Donny Cates, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And same thing with Hulk. I was like, oh, cool. But it was always going to be one of those things when he was done, I was like, I'm going to move on, you know?
His hope kills me, dude.
I know there's so many what ifs with that. I mean,
Yes. Well, like in that, and
the
like
Ryan
again,
Otley stuff was so good though. Like it
yeah,
was
like
cool. I'd love to see
it
more
was very
Otley
just,
stuff.
it was just like it's so funny because like even though I didn't like a lot of like their Hulk run, the art every single issue that Otley did was it looked great, it looked awesome,
Bro,
but
look how far down this is.
hella far,
I
dude.
was actually like, when is this? It's so
Like two,
far
is it?
down.
Oh, it was. Oh shoot, it was. Yeah, it was
Dude,
this week. We need. Well, we'll need to set up when we're doing that one. I need to read that today.
July. Okay. Damn.
Absolute Flash the week after, dude. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just Absolute Flash is so good.
I know you champion that book.
1,000%, dude. I'll never not. No,
No, it's good though. I like the enthusiasm, and I mean, I enjoy it. It's great,
dude.
but
Absolute one. All of the Absolute books have been good. You should check out Green Lantern, man. I think you might like it.
I think I'm just too much of a purist.
But do you like anime and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I like some. I watched a lot of the early Dragon Ball Z stuff.
That's very, dude. It's
Yeah, I kind of
heavy
see it.
Dragon Ball vibes. Like Ivan Sur is very much like a Dragon Ball Z. Like you don't know if he's a villain or if he's like an ally yet. He's one of those characters. But it's the art
Just
is crazy,
feel.
dude. The art is crazy.
I feel like, well, yeah, they're right next to each other. I'm such a purist when it comes to Wolverine, and I'm such a purist when it comes to Green Lantern that
Dude,
it's like
okay, like then you would love you. I'm telling you, man. Ultimate Wolverine is the book for you. Like it's like
I just wasn't really.
it almost seems like X-Men's greatest hits, but like in a really, really cool and ultimate way without like being like edgy or like
I'm
too
gonna
cool.
read it.
It's I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it way more than regular Wolverine.
Well, both
I'm
that
still
and
reading that
regular,
too.
both that and regular Wolverine. Like when I get back into modern X-Men, like the newer
Don't
stuff, I'm just gonna go into
don't.
Wolverine, I think.
I'm just
Well,
saying.
Wolverine is like one of those things where
No, Wolverine. The Wolverine's pretty good. Like the Wolverine title is good. I think it's pretty good.
like for a character that has had so many ongoings, he does not have very many solo outings like that are really good. Like,
Yeah. And you've
uh,
said that like numerous times.
yeah, like it's kind of crazy. Like he, I have like those Wolverine omnibus, like all the Claremont stuff, and those are
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
And those are like the must-haves for a Wolverine fan. And I'm telling you, those it's like the best content for the character. Anything else that's like a good Wolverine story or like really good moments, it's all like in like X-Men, you know? So it's like
Yeah.
weird.
Or
Um,
you have like out of continuity stuff. Like I think like Old Man Logan is good. You know what I mean? But
but
like,
like Wolverine is also one of those characters where like there's a fine line. Like when you're reading like Ben Percy and you're like, oh, he's trying to do like the Claremont thing, like the patch thing. Like it's very easy to like be like, oh, I've seen this before with Wolverine, you know? Like
yeah.
you it's because I'm such a big fan of the character, you know, but like he
Okay.
is a
So okay,
victim of
I
his own
guess
success.
what you're trying to say is, do you feel like certain things are played out and then people just keep doing it because they don't really know what else to do? So it's just like, hey,
Wolverine's always been a victim of his own success. He The thing that's interesting about him is since his origin was very shrouded in mystery, the
yeah,
expectations are very high. So like when you do the origin with Weapon X, it's like, oh, okay, that's cool, but like, how did he get there? So you need like another origin. And then they do origin with like Paul Jenkins and like Andy Kubert.
yeah.
And it's good, but
But it's not like satisfying
it's
enough.
not satisfying. It's kind
So
of like,
okay,
hmm.
where you're going with this is like you basically try to get like an origin of the origin of the origin to kind of keep cleaning. Is that what you're saying? Like you kind of
Well,
like
all right. No, another thing, and then we'll wrap this up. But like the whole reason why they did Origin is because they were like, if we don't do it, the Fox movies are going to beat us to it. So it's kind of, and this is not to knock Paul Jenkins or like anyone involved,
no, hey, no, right.
but it's so obvious when you're reading it. They're like, oh, they just really wanted to get there first. Like, so then you see X-Men
Well, like,
Origins Wolverine, and
well,
it's like, okay, then they just adapt that. But
yeah,
it's one of those things where like I've always, and this is a good kind of segue because it actually inspired a lot of the book that I did with my brother.
right.
Sometimes it's better just never do the origin, like a proper origin. Leave it to the reader's imagination, you know?
I agree with you, and it does not happen enough. Like,
Because have you ever read any of the Jeff Loeb Wolverine stuff?
no.
It very like hints that he is not really a mutant, that he's like part, like what's it called? Lichen or something, like werewolf
Mm.
kind of thing, like wolf people. And he introduces Romulus, and it's kind of like, oh,
Dude,
you're like,
Romulus is in the book, is in the
yeah.
Salad in the Mud book. I didn't know anything about that character, and I thought he's kind of badass, to be honest with you.
I had a friend I used to work with that like he was like, yo, that Jeff Loeb stuff with Romulus, that shit's awesome. Like, and he would ask me because I was still reading X-Men and like and
Uh-huh.
Wolverine. He was like, he would check in with me like every couple months. He was like, have they brought Romulus back yet? So it's kind of cool that he's back. But like, it's
I'm
one of
gonna
those
ask you
things.
that from now on. I'm gonna ask you like, dude, because like whenever he shows up in Wolverine, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy, and why does he look like old man Wolverine?
Yeah, and
I'm like, okay,
bro, there's a lot of like crazy stuff too because Jeff Loeb tries to like reinvent like that with like Romulus that like he's a crucial part of his origin that like Wolverine like they might even be like related somehow like they're doing all this stuff and then it
yeah,
like bridges the gap with like Sabretooth but then also at the same time
dude, that's all
you
shit
think
that's
it
happening right now in Salad in the
yeah,
Med Wolverine. Like he like okay, not to like, have you read any of that?
none of it.
Dude, like okay, so okay, I have a question. This deal, okay, like at the Adamantine, is
Okay.
that a thing that's been like, is that like a thing that's been around? like this gold medal that's
No,
kind
that's
of
new.
Adam. Okay,
That's new.
it's an interesting story because it's like the setup for it is like uh Cyber, I think, is like hunting Wolverine. And then there's like a Wendigo, like a kid gets turned into a Wendigo, and Wolverine has to help him like curb his inner animal, while Wolverine is having trouble like dealing with that for himself. So he's like helping this kid control these urges while also controlling his own. And they're like having to brawl because he's a Wendigo. But then you have this like the subtle subplot that switches and becomes the main plot with this adamantine, which like this ancient metal that's it's almost like symbiotic because it can possess like the users, and it's only hunting people that have adamantium. So
Hmm.
like it sees adamantium as like this false fake metal because the adamantine was like the metal of the gods as far as like
Yeah.
Marvel is concerned. But like I had never seen it used in this way or if it was connected to Wolverine like long like in history. So I just kind of took it for what it was because Hercules' mace is made from adamantine, but it like acts very different when he
Hmm.
used. So like it's like sentient and it was like reaching out and like like possessing adamantium users and like replacing the adamantium with adamantine, and it ended up being like Romulus was its main host. But even then it didn't want Romulus because it saw Wolverine as the perfect host because he had such a like perfect fusion with adamantium that it said like he's like the perfect being for us. It just kept thinking. So it was like this slow build to it trying to reach Wolverine, and then he gets saved from it, because he's the best
Hmm.
at what he does and all that stuff. So he can't be beat, and he can't let a metal that like a symbiote take. Like it's this whole like character thing for a moment, and I think it's really cool. But like,
Yeah.
I had no idea about any of that stuff. So like the fact that you're talking about Romulus and all of these
Yeah.
things, and or like his origin because they're going into his mom like and
Yeah.
his past with his two dads or whatever. And I'm like, I don't even know any of this shit. What the hell's going on? But it's
Oh
also kind of
man,
cool.
dude, it makes me kind of glad because it kind of sounds like something that I could like easily just binge the shit out of,
It's 10, there's
which
10
is
issues
exciting.
of it right now, and well, 11, I guess, if you count the annual. But I don't think there isn't an issue I haven't enjoyed. And I feel like it's for me, like the X-Men stuff, it's just like if I can focus on a couple characters at a time and just let me breathe a little bit and not like shove everybody down my throat 24/7, I can enjoy X-Men. But it's just like it's like I feel like it's having to juggle another universe within another universe. And I'm already doing so many universe juggling at this point. Like I've got the main DC, I've got Ultimate Marvel, I've got regular Marvel, I've got Absolute DC, I've got Black Hammer universe, I've got Astro City universe, I've got Radiant Black universe, I've got Jeff Johns Mad Ghost universe. I've got all of these different things that I'm like trying to keep up with.
Dude, do you have any idea like seeing Deadpool and Wolverine in like all those the variants of Wolverine, all the costumes? Do you have any idea how fucking awesome that was? Like I was
Oh,
just
I'm
like
sure
so
it was.
giddy over that. Like that was
Oh,
my
I bet.
favorite part.
Oh,
Like
I
I was
bet.
so not I was not expecting it,
Yeah, I
and they
bet.
literally like and it was one of those things where I'm like, man, like I don't even need to see Wolverine again. Like you did it. Like the fan service for me, like
Like it just hit all the notes for you.
dude, I've ranted
Dude,
enough times about how the brown and tan John Byrne suit is like the best. So like literally seeing Hugh Jackman wearing the brown and tan,
it
I
was
was like,
probably like a dream come true, dude. Huh?
well, what's funny is I just had a rant to Emily and Derek like before that, or how
Huh.
that was my favorite. And I literally said everything like the John Byrne brown and tan. So when Deadpool was like, "Oh, the John Byrne brown and tan," they were like, "Did you know that was going to be in
Like you
that?"
like read, yeah, like you knew it was
Yeah.
coming. Oh, dude, I love moments like that though. Like
Well, she even got me like a Wolverine statue a while back, and like when she gave it to me, she's like, "I know how much you like the brown and tan Wolverine."
that's cool. That's a good
So I was
deal.
like, "Oh yeah."
That's tough.
And
And
I've
it
my
is
brother
a
and I
really great.
still
It's a
my
really great costume.
yeah, my brother and I still will have little like not like arguments, but like I
Like
still
debate,
say I'm
yeah.
like that suit in that looks better than the actual yellow and blue that he wears for most of the
A
movie.
1000%, dude. Like 1000%.
And I don't even care it doesn't have the cowl. It
And
looks so good.
Yes. And like I'm not even nearly a big Wolverine fan, but like 100%. I don't know. There's something about those colors that just one, I feel like it's a good opposite to his like whole deal with Sabretooth, and it's kind of like
Mm.
symbolic in some ways. But also like I think the color scheme is just really clean and it really digs into like the character's feral. Like
Oh
and
yeah.
to kind of like to feel like you need like a shiny paint of like blue to kind of clean him up sometimes. I don't need it. Just let him be a beast.
Do you know about the one suit I wish that they had, which this is a stretch, but do you know about the Fang suit?
I mean if
Well,
I saw it.
um, so basically it's around, I think it's like right before Dark Phoenix. It's when it might be like in that actually. Um, they're fighting the Shi'ar, like
Hmm.
what's it called? Damn, I'm like
You're an
blanking.
Imperial Guard?
Imperial Guard, yeah. And there's this character, Fang, and Wolverine and him fight, and Wolverine's suit's all messed up. So Wolverine just takes his costume.
I'm gonna look this up right now.
It's so weird. Like he's just like you could tell it was just like let's just see if we can do a different costume for Wolverine. He just takes his suit, this sweaty suit that they just had this massive fight on.
I have seen this costume before.
It's so like just random, and then they just never bring it back. But like I love it. It's just like what? I love the
Yeah.
attempt to just be like, well, let's just try it, you know?
Yeah, no.
It's just so
But
funny though, because they just had this whole fight, and then he's like, I'm taking your suit.
but that
But
seems like almost like a
it's
Wolverine. Like
comics.
I don't know. Yeah, it like and here's the thing is like and correct me if I'm wrong, but like I've been like I read the Venom War Wolverine tie-in and like it seems like some of these writers just kind of like they have a pretty solid voice for Wolverine, I feel. So like a moment of him like you ruined my outfit. I'm gonna take yours. I'm just like that kind of seems like something he might do, but also then again, I don't know enough.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like maybe he is just kind of being a shithead and he's like, you know, you ruined my costume. I'm gonna take yours. And even though
yeah.
it looks like kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Hey, if you like the fan costume, cool, but I don't know. It's not for me, man.
Oh yeah, no, it's just like
It
so
was
silly that it was just
goofy.
like, oh, like it would, I don't know. That's asking for too much at that point. But all right, man, let's wrap this up. It was good chatting with you. Hopefully we
Yeah,
don't
how do you?
forget about the special.
Yeah, I'll read it later today. Um,
The what the
how do you feel about this?
what do you mean read it later today?
Didn't the special just come out like 2 days ago?
The Bad Moon Rising?
Yes, or is that not out yet?
No, it comes out this week.
Oh,
Wait,
I thought it was
23rd? No,
because
I think
it's
it's
July. I could have sworn it was the second, dude, of July when that came. Hold on, maybe I'm maybe I'm tripping. I thought it was this week. I could have sworn it said July 2nd on the
weird.
July 23rd. So a couple
Yeah.
more weeks. Sorry. I was like, because
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I didn't add this to my pull list. So when I thought I saw the second, I was like, I'm like, shit, I have to go and I'm gonna have to go pick it up.
Yeah. And we
So let
have
me go run over there and get it.
Absolute's the week before, so the 16th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So see, I like, and I literally was about to tell you, like, all right, I guess we'll be back in a couple days to record the Batman Rising
Yeah.
special. At least it's
No.
absolute flash before then. All right, cool.
All right, dude. Looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
I don't know. I thought it was a decent issue. There's still a lot that I'm not like that just doesn't it just like doesn't sit it's just like whatever. Like I just don't really I'm not that invested at this point. I think and I'm here for the ride, dude. I'm here for the conversation
I think it'll
and
stick the
and
landing though. I
yeah,
believe it.
as long as the main Wally's not evil, I
You know what's
think
gonna happen is you're the Spurrier's final arc is gonna stick the landing that you're gonna be like, why did he wait till the end for it to get really good?
that's like something I really dislike. I really dislike that stuff, man. Like when there are a couple good issues at the very end that are just solid as shit, and I'm like,
That
wow,
you're
it's the
almost like kind of
whole.
like, oh, just more. Get more spirit. Yeah.
Like you got one more arc in you, man. You just brought it. Like you could do
Yeah.
it. Oh no, it's gonna be. It's gonna end like that. I'm gonna be like, fine.
I think this is, I think pretty soon it'll be an announcement, the next writer, because I think Spurrier said he only had 2 years of story when he first started.
And he just announced a new that new indie book we were talking about.
Yeah,
Like, he
I
texted me.
think I'd be willing to bet next month they announce the next Flash
Well,
writer.
like, and that's kind of fitting because it gives him 2 years of content because he started in September of 23 and he'll be done in September of 25 if that's the case, you know.
Yeah.
But it regardless, I think I if I went back and read this like just binged it, I feel like there are certain parts of it I would enjoy more. Just not having to sit there and chew on it and think about all of these little things month after month after month. I feel like if
Yeah.
I could shut my brain off and enjoy it for like the sci-fi weirdness that it is, it's not awful and I don't hate it. There's just a lot of stuff that I like that's missing, I guess, is kind of where I'm going with
Oh
it.
yeah. Well, you want boots on the ground, man. I get it.
Yeah,
Because Absolute
exactly.
Flash is like checking that box for you. It's boots on the ground.
Exactly.
It's like it has some of that sci-fi weirdness, but like tastefully, you know, where
Yeah,
it's
and it's
like,
like it's subtly being built up more and more as like issues go on.
well, like the confusion with the powers and stuff, and like the time travel. It very much is connected to like the character's anxiety, and it's just well done. It's well
Yeah.
done. It's simplified, and it's like we're really kind of figuring this out with the character. It's good.
And that's it. You pretty much just explained it all because I feel like what absolute like you said, Absolute Flash is explaining like we're learning about what's going on to Wally with Wally. But in regular Flash, I feel like there's such a huge disconnect from the reader and what the characters are going through that the mystery's not appealing because like the characters it almost seems like the characters will never actually grasp what's being said. It's just kind of like, oh,
That was weird.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
ah, okay. But like, whereas in Absolute Flash, it's Wally really figuring out that, his powers are being triggered by his own emotional flare-ups. Or,
Hmm.
like there are extra natural forces at play, like time travel and other things that are even if it's not directly tied to Wally, it is inducing these situations with him that are causing his powers to have to manifest in certain ways. Like it is all very like focused on Wally as a character and his development and learning to navigate this new life that he has.
Hmm.
Whereas Spurrier's Flash is just random sci-fi cool shit after random sci-fi cool shit that you have to explain to the reader and the character in these most drawn out ways that aren't that I just don't I just it's just like it's like a chore to get through. And it feels like I'm just doing a lot of extra homework, whereas Absolute Flash is just I could eat,
Yeah.
bro.
You want more. Yeah.
Yes, every time. But yeah, I'm just yapping, so it's fine.
Oh yeah. No, but it's awesome though. I like the enthusiasm.
I love
But
that.
all right,
All right.
man. Well, looking forward to the next one. And
Yes, sir.
yeah.
All right. Peace out, dude.